For usual living on channels for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. It is Wednesday. Let's take a look at some alts. It's still probably a little early to position heavily into some alts. There are a few that are doing really well. Congrats if you've caught them. On balance, I'm guessing most people probably trading the wrong alts, not trading the alts that are moving. They're just sort of sitting there. That's okay. If you're expecting outsized returns relative to the majors eventually, then you're fine. But you have to be honest with yourself. If you've been wrong for 4 years and now you're like, now's my time to get back to break even, maybe you need to reevaluate your trading strategy on alts. But relative to the charts, this is what you want dominance to look like. Whether or not we get an actual inverted head and shoulders here, I don't know how high a shoulder would actually go, maybe into the cloud there, upcoming. But this could go deep into 2026. I mean, we could see January, February type activity. We could see activity relative to stimmies around the midterms. So just because it looks good on the 3-day in favor of alts doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get this mega explosion in October or November of alts just broadly. You got to really temper your expectations and be patient if you want something like 2021. Now, the good news is on the technicals for dominance, it's already below the cloud. You're getting a toppy pattern getting put in here, and you're getting the cloud fully bearish for the first time since 2023. So the table is set for alts to outperform. I just think it's going to take way longer than most people expect. There's people who've been calling for alt season for months. I just think it's going to take probably late November, early December. I think it's going to take ETH until November to start to move. And then we may see some spillover January, February on some euphoric rotation type stuff. Looking at total 2 minus stables over BTC, same deal, inverted head and shoulders here above the cloud. It's flipping bullish on the cloud for the first time since 2023. It's going to be the first potential move in a big way since 2021. Right? All this, the stars are aligning on the technicals for this stuff to start to play out. I just feel for the people that have been trying, since 2021 to long alts and just have done poorly. So I'd be smart about it. Trade strength, trade the breakouts. Don't get bogged down with stuff that just looks dead, and don't chase stuff. Zcash is a great example. Hype, probably another example, even though that may do well eventually. But the best case scenario is instead of an alt season, air quotes, where you get everything moving in a day, we get multiple weeks of trades. First BTC, then ETH, then Sol, then memes, then whatever else, right? Then instead of just one 50% move, you get like 8 50% moves, right? That's the dream. So the dream is not everything breaking out together. Really, it's dispersion. It's finding strength and weakness intermittently as this stuff starts to break out. And if you're bullish total 2, you're looking at this saying, okay, this is at almost all-time highs. There's a lower time frame inverted head and shoulders here. There's a bullish TK crisscross, similar to Hype, similar to ETH. I just think it's going to take a little time. Great news that stables are printing. Great news that commodities look insane, bullish relative to the dollar. So all this stuff looks great. It's just there are so many alts, 2,000 alts. You got to be careful on what you select here because you could be waiting for something that either never plays out this cycle or is so late in actually breaking out. We're talking December, January, that you're just eating opportunity cost. So you got to size that appropriately. And you got to pay attention to that in order not to lose on the relative value game. Here's a total 2, total 3, IWM, ETH, WGMI, and coin together. Now, WGMI has been on its own journey. That's the Bitcoin miners relative to HPC data center stuff. We'll take a look at coin today, but I finally opened a coin position, not because I wanted to, but because the cloud said to do it. So that's what I did. It is also deeply undervalued to the tightly correlative group. So I think that's another good argument for it. You've got ETFs coming down the pipe. A lot of these are going to be using coin as their custodian. And you've got alt season, which you may see increases in, potentially alt season, which you may see increases in trading activity for coin. So there's all that stuff that you can use as a fundamental driver. But ultimately for me, it's the technicals that made me push the button. You can see here still how much coin is not following the rest of the group. But the rest of the group looks good for eventual highs. And ETH BTC probably the most important chart for alts, did get a weekly bullish TK cross. Now it has a daily bearish TK cross, but at the very least, it's got this going for it. Now, similar to 2020, what you want to see here is a move through the cloud. Do you want to trade this now? Do you want to wait? I'm super conservative. I would rather see this above 041 in November, December to even care to take a position. I just don't care. If I think that we're going to 09, I can give it some time, right? Now, the difference between now and 2020 was you got a really good entry on this, even before the inverted head and shoulders formed here. I trusted and trust this pattern way more than I trust whatever this is, just because the duration. I mean, this took multiple years to bottom, and then it had a fundamental driver of NFTs, DeFi, whatever. It's probably going to take something here. If it's tokenization, if it's RWA, it doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter. Something. It just needs something to get people to actually buy ETH over BTC. I don't think it's going to be staking in the ETFs. That's not going to be enough, in my opinion. But you could argue a breakout pattern like this, and the cloud roughly agrees. I mean, it's going to be an absolute blessing if we get bleed on BTC into January, February, and then ETH moves March, April. I don't know. Who knows, right? But we don't want all this stuff moving together. So I do think it's a little early on ETH BTC. We'll look at the daily ETH BTC too, but that says to give it some time. Now, this is why I think we might get some bleed in the cycle. Either crypto continues into 2026, or we just get some crazy moves. I mean, this is gold. This is a $30 trillion asset. This is not normal for a $30 trillion asset to look like this, right? BTC is 2.5 or something. ETH is whatever it is. Sol is whatever it is. So once this slows down, once silver slows down, silver, right? It's up a lot still. Still looks parabolic. Gold looks parabolic. Copper breaking out. Platinum breaking out. Palladium on the weekly breaking out. It's alt season in metals right now. You've got rare earth parabolic as well. So my guess is once the metals slow down, specifically gold, BTC will take off in a bigger way, followed by alts. That's why this may take a little longer to get off the mat for some of the alts that just haven't done anything. And then you've got other speculative areas like biotech. This is 3x biotech ETF. Weekly, daily looks great. This is clearly curling up, parabolic. Hasn't even really broken out yet. This is also on the small cap, zombie cap, high risk, way out there on the curve. So if you're intelligently trading around all this stuff, you don't even really care about alts yet. It's just too early, right? It's just too early. If you're trading anything else that is in the highly speculative land, like, I don't know, palladium or whatever, right? Like, you're going to get plenty of great moves on that before alts. Probably. That's my guess. If we switch gears to the DATs for a hot second, it's pretty black and white with MSTR. I don't really care about anything other than the technicals. I don't care about how much BTC they own. I don't care about MNAV. I don't care about options. I don't care about whether or not they're going to get in the S&P. If any of that mattered in a good way, we would be above 380 here. I don't think this is a bellwether for BTC. I think that the DATs just collectively are on their own journey right now, but there may come a time when a trade is to be made here, and maybe during alt season. I don't know, right? I just think until this looks like it wants to break out, what's the point? It's the same argument with ETH BTC. If you think it's going to double, you can afford to wait a little bit to get confirmation. That's it. That's all it comes down to. So MSTR is a no for me. Metaplanet's another one. You're going to want to see a div or a pattern down here. This may just go sideways in November and December, and then maybe you get an edge to edge in December, January. I don't know. It's just, this has been up a very high percentage over and over and over again, and the technicals look awful. Again, I don't care how much BTC they're buying. I'm happy they're buying BTC, but I don't need to buy 3350. It just doesn't make sense until the technicals look better. A few of these others, I kind of just watch these on the periphery. It's certainly worth watching MSTR, waiting for it, hunting it, just coming back to it maybe once a week. Okay, how do we look? Right? It's certainly worth it. Something like KULR, similar. I don't expect big things from this, but some of these may break out, some of them not. Just like alts, you may get a setup here and there. This is starting to potentially get out of a channel, but who knows if it actually does. Nothing today, nothing yet, in my opinion. BMNR kind of hasn't went anywhere, still just kind of hanging out. It is above a low time frame cloud. Is that enough? I don't think so. Not until ETH starts to break up. I like BMNR at 66. I like ETH at 48, 58, whatever it is. I keep saying 48. Whatever that higher high is, that makes a lot more sense to me. You could probably argue ascending triangle here. Just need some time. Coin, like I mentioned, bullish TK recross, price above cloud. It's right at resistance here. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes sideways, does nothing, disappoints. That's not surprising at all. But yesterday was probably a better day to long this. I just wasn't looking at it. You're just wanting, these pops above the cloud that we've seen. And we could get that between now and the next 3 months. I don't know. But the level on the measured move here would be something up here, 560, 730. I don't know. And there's probably an argument to be made that there's way more capital flowing into crypto publicly listed companies than alts. And we may see moves on some of this stuff. Hood is another one, obviously. If I'm trading Hood up here, this is where I want it to go. Just like some stupid number. Similar to Solana. If I'm trading Solana up here, I don't really care about volatility. You're just holding it and you're hoping for crazy outperformance randomly, right? This is the fib levels from IPO high to the low in 2022. I don't really have any other way to there's nothing else to really gauge. I guess you could look at yearly pivots, but is this realistic? I don't know. Is 1,000 on Solana realistic? I don't know. I just don't know what else you'd want after already being up 500%, whatever it is, in a couple of years. I would rather personally trade other stuff, but that's just me. You've also got a few of these IPOs. Nobody's talking about this. This is bullish. It looks like a low time frame inverted head and shoulders. Haven't touched this one yet, but worth setting alerts probably at around 70. And again, this is an alt, air quote, not BTC. It is a crypto business. This probably moves before most alts do, is my guess. Gemini's another one. Gemini Space Station, pretty funny name, but any higher high here, 26. Sure. There are so many people, retail traders, just watching momentum tables, volume tables. They don't care or know what this is. They're just waiting for momentum to get in. So if something like Bullish or Gemini or Coinbase can start to establish that momentum, I think you will see a decent move. So it's something to do while you're waiting for alts. Figure's another one that I forgot went public. I really don't know what they do. Blockchain lending or something? No idea. But it's done pretty well on low time frames here on the cloud. I don't think there's any data that I'm confident enough trading myself. But again, if you're looking for crypto companies, that is one. Circle, obviously, another low time frame breakout here. On Circle, will this be lumped in with crypto businesses that do well potentially performance-wise in the market's eyes, or will this rally be dampened by rates coming down? Because that's where most of Circle's revenue comes from. I don't know. That's why I just trade the technicals. Clearly it's out of the downtrend, and it might be trying for something here at a higher high. And then Galaxy has done very, very well. Way late on this one, but 26-ish was when I should have gotten back in on this day, this bullish TK recross price above cloud day. Certainly has plenty of upside in it, but me personally just feels a little late. XYZ is another one, Block. Not many people have asked me about this one lately, probably because they know my opinion, but it also is starting to get back into that level where I would like it as a breakout trader above 80, above 85, above 90. When I see this multi-year range on anything, it just is not a place I want to live. I don't care to sit in this for an extended period of time. I want to be there when the momentum is there. So that'll be another one to add to the watch list for the crypto business side of things. We can probably add PayPal to that list. I don't think that chart looks phenomenal, but it is starting to curl up a little bit. For alts today, I thought I'd pull up trusty dusty Kraken here just because I think the latency is better for the video. Looking at BTC, bounced down yesterday at all-time highs, probably reconsolidate a little bit here. I think overall this looks fine. We have our bullish TK recross price above cloud. Gold's going to infinity. Eventually BTC is going to catch a bid. All the technicals are favorable here. I don't really care about divs. I don't really care about anything. I mean, it's just ready to go. We do have a guy selling, I don't know, eventually maybe 4 billion openly in the market on Hyperliquid on the BTC side. That certainly helped push the market down lower yesterday. I would rather see that in strength than weakness, but I'd also rather see it now than later when we're trying to push some psychological value like 200K or something. You don't want a massive bear whale just sitting on price up there. So overall, BTC looks great. Holding calls, holding IBIT, holding BTC, all that fun stuff. ETH, bearish TK cross a couple days ago. It's basically gone flatlined here. Really not much to say or do. It does potentially have a trade in it. Really, you just want this, me personally. Any daily closes above 48, and I like it a lot more. And any bullish TK recross, I like it a lot. But this may take a couple weeks into November, December. You don't know, right? This is the same thing with XYZ with block. You're stuck in this range. You can be hopeful that you're going to get a breakout. You can nibble on it early, but ultimately BTC could run quite a bit first before ETH. BTC could pull ETH out of this, out of 4,800 la la land. It's all possible. I still like BTC first here. Sol has been challenging because it's just been super, super volatile, up and down. It looks okay overall. I don't know a great level you'd want for an entry here. Really, again, I think people are just looking at this massive cup and handle potentially, and they're just saying, okay, this could go to 400 easily, right? I don't think that's necessarily wrong to think. I just think you have to size that appropriately, and you're not 50x leverage thinking it's going to happen tomorrow. I think it's fine to hold some spot and rotate in as you see momentum, but I wouldn't just get delusions of grandeur here until this starts to break out. So not really much else to say for Solana, in my opinion. Ripple, and this is where we start to get into a lot of these charts. You just want a higher high, and that's probably enough. It's probably enough if we clear all this. I saw, what's his face calling this a descending triangle. I don't think he's wrong. That's not what I wanted. Watching me learn how to draw with Kraken in real time. But you just want a higher high. You want something above the cloud. 317, 320, fine, right? Like if you think this is going to 5, waiting 20 cents, not a big deal. Not a big deal. But I do not like it in the range. And that's most of these charts. SUI, same deal. Most of these very, very easy. Draw a diagonal. Set an alert for anything making a higher high. That would be the entry for me. SUI's kind of been sleeping here. Sleeper? Hasn't really done much. We zoom way out. You kind of have this ascending triangle-ish stuff. You know, it's hard. It's kind of a mix of a bunch of stuff. Nothing bearish. It just needs to make a higher high. Just like Ripple needs to make a higher high. Cardano, same thing. Draw a diag, needs to make a higher high. I don't care about it until then. Link, same deal. You know, this is most of the market. Higher high, I like it. Is it going to outperform, you know, SUI going to outperform Link? Is Ripple going to outperform ADA? I don't have a good answer for you on any of that, but I would just let the chart tell you, right? Like if this starts to break out first, fine. There's the trade, right? If LTC starts to break out first at some higher high, there's the trade. Until then, I don't think there's anything to do. There's a level here in LTC there, 130. That's kind of it. You know, nothing exciting in setup land for the top names there. XMR, which is pretty much only available on Kraken, as far as I know, does have a inverted head and shoulders here. So the 2 or 3 people that always ask me about XMR, yeah, why not, right? Shoulder, head, shoulder, above the cloud. There's a setup for you. XLM is the same. HBAR is the same. Any of these that have curve, probably the same. They all have this really choppy June, July to present. And it's just always the same. You know, can you make a higher high? Can you make a higher high? If you're bullish, that's what you need. ENA, I do not like here. Not really anything to see, say, or do. Bearish TK cross in the cloud. This may start to move if ETH funding picks up. So that would be something over here, maybe November, December. But I don't think there's anything to do on ENA right now. And with Tau, you're starting to get into like this looks just lukewarm territory. Again, you can see there's a clear diag. It's got a little room, 400 plus. You know, there's nothing today that's screaming, this looks like a great setup. MNT is clearly caught the market's eye for whatever reason. I don't have anything to say about it up here, but it's a lesson that when you start to break out, that's your entry. It will look like nothing. It may go nowhere, but that's not the point. You're there in case it goes somewhere, right? And for whatever reason, this has gone from 75 to 280. You know, I'm sure there's some news item or God knows what, right? But this is what you're hoping for on anything that hasn't broken out yet. Apt, definitely the top of my list for something with breakout potential. Cloud is fully bullish here for the first time since 2024. So if it's going to move, it's going to be in the next couple months on that one. Ondo needs a higher high above 112. Tron, I don't really trade. I don't think many people pay too much attention to Tron, just kind of noisy up here. Has done decently well in the past few months. Curve, same deal. Really nothing, like I can't even pretend to make something up. We can say, okay, maybe this is a falling wedge. Maybe it's a like inverted head and shoulders here, but like what you really want is 90 cents or above with some volume. There's just nothing. There's nothing to do here. Last time we had multi-month inverted head and shoulders, but here there's just nothing. So you do have to set lots of alerts and just wait. I mean, that's what I'm doing. SEI, same deal, higher high. I like it a lot more. Nothing to do here. Aave, I like above 340. Really nothing to do there. Render 420. That'd be a higher high. It's just, to me, no use sitting in this stuff. Cass, I would probably never trade. Near, also at the top of the list, along with Beam, Wormhole. If you're making a higher low, it's a great sign. That's the first step. We made a ton of lower lows here on alts across the board. You're making a higher low, great. Next step, can you make a higher high? But there aren't many charts that look like this. So Near is definitely one of the better looking charts. Dot also in the conversation. It's made a series of higher lows there. That's what you want to see as a setup, right? You can't ask for anything better than this. As we get into alt season territory, Algo, nothing to say there. FET, nothing there. Wormhole, one of the few that has done very, very well here, has broken above its inverted head and shoulders, really clean. Textbook, volume towards the end of this thing. Hasn't really gone anywhere yet, but I still like how this chart looks relative to the group. ARB, nothing. Below the cloud, Atom, nothing. Like, why, right? That's my, people say, why, what about this coin, man? What about this one? Not this in particular, but it's like, if you're just ranging, why do I care? I just don't. Like, what is there to do here? Nothing. It hasn't gone anywhere. Needs momentum. CRO, I don't think there's anything here either. Just kind of flailing around a little bit. INJ, similar to all these others, just a little push on a diag. Any higher high, I like it a lot more. Beam, up there, top of the conversation. Shout out to whoever brought this one to my attention last week. Another just textbook, inverted head and shoulders, flat neckline, you're making higher highs here, starting to break out. Down for months, has gone nowhere year to date. This is perfect. This is absolutely what I want to see as something that's ready to go. Ton at lows, does not look super healthy there. Kaito ranging, nothing to do. Tia at lows, nothing to do. Tia has a massive diag. Just absolutely nothing to do there. HNT, nothing to do. Ray, nothing to do. And, the deeper we get down on this volume list, you can just sort of tell, overall, not really worth throwing money at, in my opinion. Pith, really nothing. Rune, down chop. Syrup, down chop after that move. This is how I'd expect MNT to look after it finds a high. People like to chase, like hype, right? People like to chase at the top and then it goes nowhere. I think hype is on here, yeah. Like what is this? This is nothing. This is ranging. It's at the same price it's been at for a couple months. If this can make a higher high, great. I do not like this potential for a head and shoulders. That's not what you want to see if you're bullish. Now you want to see price fight this off and just say, no, we're going higher. So I like alerts at like 52, but here I would not be sitting in this. It's done very well. Memes broadly, I don't really think there's much to do. Doge, kind of like Sol. It's been okay for just sitting in it, but on a day-to-day basis, it's been tough. As this gets closer to a potential breakout level, maybe there's a trade to be taken here, but I don't know. You could argue, again, higher high, I like it, but I don't see anything today. SPX, it's just like, you're trying to do something, you're in a range. I don't have anything for you. Fartcoin, no. Pengu, ranging. Pepe, down chop. Bonk, down chop. Trump, down chop, whiff, down chop, dog. No. Toshi, okay, it's making higher highs. It's super volatile, low volume. Sure. You know, like at least it's not going down. At least it's not just the Titanic just slowly sinking. SHIB, I like at highs, but not here. MOG, maybe some low time frame. Inverted head and shoulders to watch for, but not here. Really nothing to do. Floki, nope. Popcat, nope. Moodang, nope. And Titcoin, nope. Just nothing there. There's really nothing there. ETH BTC bearish TK cross. You got to be careful about a cup and handle inverse here. That would mean ETH underperforming BTC in the near term relative to the ETH USD chart, which looks way better than this. I mean, this does not favor ETH at all. Sol BTC also has a head and shoulders on it. Just be using the hotkeys for this, but you know, this type thing you don't want to see. If you're bullish here, Ripple BTC also not favorable, just slowly falling off the table. These may have like this Reaper's sickle, right? Where you just get this crazy move and then it just like goes higher, but there's a lot of hopium in that. XMR ranging against BTC, Doge. Okay. You know, this is one reason to watch the BTC charts. You may get a clearer picture of what's going on here. To me, this is a pretty clear inverted head and shoulders relative to what the Doge USD chart looks like. So higher highs here would favor Doge over BTC. And, you know, maybe Doge moves before ETH. It's possible. Toronto, stellar. Alts love to like break out in a week against BTC and then just chop down for months. So again, kind of a decent, just T I should be hitting T, decent little falling wedge case here. Any higher highs and you're probably good. Just not yet. ADA, no. Link, no. But again, similar to Ripple, you get the move and then you get like this stuff, right? Kind of falling wedge, and then eventually maybe you get a move higher. Dot, nothing there. LTC, nothing there. Algo, nothing there. So overall, Beam, Wormhole, Dot on the USD pairs, Doge, oddly enough, on the BTC pair, XMR on the USD pair. That's kind of it. You know, to me, there's just not much there yet. Not yet, because BTC hasn't broken out yet. That's all for this one. Give me a like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.